I guess.
Welcome to SanAntonio Fancast. I'm your host, the great Harry. The great Jonathan Check is with us. How are you doing, Jay Check?
Going all right. Another week closer to the season, another week closer to actually being able to see and have a proper take on most of the things we talk about on here.
Rafa, where in the world is Rafa in Texas?
I'm in Odessa, Texas, here in West Texas. Had to be up early in the morning to go to Kermit, Texas. So a shout out to them for the hospitality over there.
Are they
tomorrow.
the frogs? Kermit the frogs?
No, you would think they would be the frogs, but no, they're the yellow. They're the yellow jackets. So
the yellow jackets. So Royce is out with the family, so he's on an excused absence. Matt is tardy, so he's on timeout. Dynamo, he's on Dynamo time for that here. But before we bring him on, friend of the show, Darius mentioned, "Hey guys, I got an alert from SofaScore that Winbickler retired." Not sure how accurate that is. Not surprising that he has retired, but best wishes if he has. And I guess we can bring on Matt.
I was watching the Spurs game. I'm sorry.
Dude,
Excuses.
do you think you're in SanAntonio or what, man? Are they losing tonight again?
I don't know.
Dude, you just said you were watching.
I was watching it, but I mean, like they're not consistent, so I don't know. Like,
anyways, how do you? Never mind. Matt's trying to add it. Put you back in timeout for that. There we go. Wish Matt was here so I can tell him what happened. Automatic first down, KFC fly. Oh, we got to bring him back on.
Here you go. You can have that one. Anyway,
Wish Matt was here so I
to
can
him.
tell him what happened. Automatic first down, Kansas City. Fly, Eagles fly. I don't know if I go that far. I will say the Chiefs got blown the F out. It wasn't even the 18-point spread wasn't even that close.
Gotta bet on the Eagles.
Huh?
Gotta bet on the Eagles.
Well, yeah. That's the Dynamo fan in you. No
loyalty.
No loyalty. Speaking of which, I'm gonna start the show off with Happy 210 Day. SAFC put out this Defend 210. Jorge, Lacey, and somebody's favorite forward for that here. No, Juan Agudelo. Hey, he's been scoring preseason for that here.
Let's see if we keep doing it.
Since Matt can't tell me the score of the Spurs game, let me pull it up.
Oh, 82-82. I have it right here on my watch.
So, once again, we're not taking care of business. We're not, dude. It's like, because what everybody's out for Washington, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, no consistency.
it's the flu.
They need a big guy because Wemby's playing.
They have an extra big. They don't know why they don't use them.
Oh, Mamu.
No, the other one. The other one that just came in.
Oh,
didn't get waived.
I mean, he just
Well,
came in. He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, use Mamu on that one.
Yes, not that we're advertising this, but Spurs are favored by 12. Highest line in favor of the Spurs all season. And they're up by 3 late in the fourth, so 4 minutes left in the fourth. Up by 1, 85-84 on the road. They're a young team for that here. So let's get started with SanAntonio FC. Paint the wall. Matt and Rafa were there. Me and Jonathan weren't. I was at watching John Jay. Unfortunately, come up just short against Southwest Legacy in a pretty good game that got a little chippy. Had some yellow cards, a red card, and a pretty good goal scored by a freshman. I will say, looking at the picture, looks like a great turnout. Matt, Rafa, you were there. Your kind of thoughts of the turnout and the presentation and how the stadium looked since you were there?
Well, the pitch looked great. I mean, the grass, we kind of got to see it because they did have a display with the trophy and the logos. We got to kind of up close and personal. The scoreboard's ready. It's bigger than it was before, so but they didn't turn it on, so everybody was surprised about that. And I think the next thing they mentioned that they were gonna fix the railing, so that was something that's probably coming up in this coming week. So, but a good turnout, like I said, as you can see there, everyone with their creativity. FTC's not yet with their logo, but soon we will be. But so great artistic, and then we got to see some players, Nicky Hernandez, our goalkeeper. Like I said, just having fun, meeting with the fans. We got to talk to Nicky Hernandez a little bit, so we got to, we talked about his involvement with Kings League and so forth. He enjoyed his time there. It's like who wouldn't pass up an opportunity to go to Italy? So he has fun. But he's, like I said, he's stoked. I think, just speaking with him, I think he's ready for this season. I think he's got, you can tell he's motivated. Like he's got not to say a chip on his shoulder, but he's driven. I think he's really excited to play with Jorge. So but like I said, it was a good turnout. Very soon.
We're probably going to try to do Wednesday, although it'll be kind of
Wednesday,
abbreviated with the schedule, or pardon, with the standings, and we'll do the Rafa's ranking as we go through the standings and kind of take a look at the playoff matchups, both for TAPS and UIL. That'll be on Wednesday, though. Sorry, last week got canceled, unfortunately, due to a family issue that popped up here for that here.
But it was a good experience. Like I said, we met a lot of people. We saw Jonathan's parents there. We got to talk. Like I said, they got to, they did their artwork on the wall. So it was great. Like I said, it was a good experience. Plus, we got our cups too.
Nobody sent a picture of the cups, so I'm still mad at you and Royce.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I told him to.
I forgot.
Matt, your thoughts?
It was good. There was a lot of great turnout. A lot of people recognized us from the show. So, I mean, it was pretty legit. Like I enjoyed myself. Got to talk to the players a little bit. Looking at the pitch, it was great, and just seeing how the reps and FO were interacting with the STM members was made it more enjoyable.
My only feedback to SAFC, having it on Friday night makes it hard for us to have high schoolers that are season ticket members during soccer season. And I know it's hard to schedule around it. I completely understand that, especially along those lines. But Friday night made it a little bit hard to keep up with that. How do y'all see Brandeis High School soccer? I know we'll talk about it on Wednesday, but they're one of the top programs in the area. I know they came up short tonight, but they are a powerhouse to be dealt with here on the north side here. They're there. And then Jonathan, we'll go with you here. SanAntonio FC signs February 7th forward. I think it's Diogo Pacheco. Per policies, terms of the deal were not announced, so we don't know if it's more than 1 year. According to head coach Carlos Lamosa, we are excited to bring Diego to SanAntonio, who's a versatile and creative player in the final third who makes us stronger offensively. He spent last year with FC Tulsa, logging 1,301 minutes in 27 matches. Finished second on the team with 4 goals and shots 30, leading the squad in assists. Prior to that, the winger played 2 seasons in MLS Next Pro with Minnesota United, registering 11 goals and 10 assists in 47 appearances. So we'll start with you, Jonathan. Media check and all that fun stuff. Your thoughts on, I believe it's Diego Pacheco.
Well, first of all, I know you and I, Harry, both had the same kind of reaction. Oh, SAFC signing the guy that scored both goals when SAFC played in Tulsa last year. And
had an assist in the other one.
Yeah, and incidentally, I think he has, I guess last year was his first year in the USL Championship. He has 4 goals overall, so half of them have come against SanAntonio, the team he's now playing for. So I'm kind of almost hoping that he gets 4 goals this year so that he can say, coming in, half of his goals have been scored against, and now by the end, half scored 4. It'd just be kind of funny. But yeah, in terms of, chipping in with a few goals, some assists here and there, I mean, decent numbers over his career, I suppose you could say. You may not always see the effect that wingers have. It's not necessarily always as directly correlated with goals because, they're obviously not always tapping them in. Sometimes they may serve a cross in, maybe it takes a weird deflection or something, so they don't get credit for an assist. You never know. Obviously, he was able to torment SAFC last year. Now, how much that really means, how much that was worth, given some of SAFC's struggles, particularly in that match, particularly at that moment of the season when you had some of the academy players having to start because SAFC was that threadbare. You take his exploits there with a grain of salt, but he's a player that obviously Carlos Lamosa and or Marco Ferruzzi say, yeah, he's going to be an interesting addition to this team. I think it's also interesting to note he is another winger. It seems like SAFC has been signing a lot of those guys, and we're not entirely sure if they necessarily have more of a target forward. I guess Juan Agudelo, and when he's ready to play matches, Alex Grieve are kind of that one person. But a lot of that sort of attacking midfielder, winger role in this team so far, it seems, in the players they've signed.
Yeah, you think I guess this would be a question for Rafa. You think LaCava could play in the middle? I know he's more wingerish. To me, more of a winger, but just looking at it here, you got LaCava, you got Pacheco, you got Hawkinson. I don't think Luis Andres Paderes is in as of yet because he doesn't have a number assigned him according to the SAFC app or the website here. Him and Jimmy, was it Madranda, doesn't have a number assigned according to the website. Everybody else does. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But your thoughts kind of on the makeup of the team? I'm not even sure I think it's a 4-3-3 or along those lines here, but it seems like Jorge's playing more up top, right? As far as how we do the roster list.
Well, he's going to be in the attack, if they do like that double pivot third with the 2 defensive mids. I think maybe Lamosa, as far as adding, I think he wants to add a lot of depth on the wings because if he is going to do this, it seems to me that they're going to press the opposing defense. They're going to apply a lot of pressure. And I think they want to have a lot of depth there, speed to really kind of wear teams out, and then have enough depth to, when they sub somebody in, they don't lose ground. I still think, we need, like I said, I don't know if LaCava can play the 9. That's, if he wants to do that, I mean, if he's gonna put maybe 3 speed guys up top, I mean that's a possibility. I want to see that lineup. It's like I said, it's gonna depend on as far as matchups who we face. If maybe like with Agudelo, he's gonna be more that forward to hold and then play to the outside or play to back. Like I said, it's gonna depend on I guess just who we face, but I still think, like I said, it's good depth because remember if you look at it last year, some of our key players on the wings were down, and so we kind of had to experiment, and then also we kind of we got hurt a lot on the wings. We didn't have the depth compared to some other teams, and I'm looking to see maybe, like I said, he's got a opportunity, to do a lot of things. A lot of, I still see he'll play a 4-3-3, but you can also see maybe they play a 4-2-3-1. I think he's gonna mix it up. So it's a good pickup. Like I said, he's got some experience. He's still young. He's actually the Benfica academy player, so he does have some European experience coming up from one of the better academies in Portugal. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to put together the lineup that they came out with here. And then Jorge Lacava and Agudelo. And I think something.
What players are we missing that haven't shown up yet?
I think it's just
Dimitri. Oh, he's here, right?
No, Dimitri showed up.
So yeah, this is something that we asked Alan. Whoa, blast from
Whoa! Force a habit.
Whoa, yeah, 4 or 5 years of someone. Yeah, this is something we went ahead and asked Carlos Llamosa last week. Who are you still waiting on? And he did mention, okay, some of these guys have recently come in, the likes of Dmitry Erofeev, Almir Soto, Alex Grieve, he said, is now in camp. So Luis Andres Paredes is the one that he mentioned as like he's still not here yet.
But he was a late addition, though.
Yeah, he was
compared to the others. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the weird thing is some of those other guys like Grieve and Erofeev had been added, weeks ago, but you still knew. Obviously, it was going to be a little trickier to bring some of them in, just as international players and all that. So yeah, Paredes, as far as we know, is the only signed player that they're still waiting to bring in.
And like I said here, I'm kind of surprised him and I'm surprised Jimmy doesn't have a number because he's been here. We've seen pictures of him, and it could just be that they haven't got it updated. Kind of interesting to me, kind of looking at the lineups. The one that hasn't started yet is Omar. I don't remember seeing Mohamed Omar start, but you've seen Juan Sebastian Osorio, you've seen Nicky, you've seen Soto getting some time. But Omar's came on as a reserve in every match, but I don't believe he's actually started a match. So that one's a little bit surprising. Nelson Flores Blanco also hasn't, to my knowledge, appeared in the lineups as of yet, and they haven't announced him. But we do know. I think Royce put showed a picture of him towards the end of the season where he was had an injury of some sort for that one there. But Mitch didn't get the start this one here, so we'll go move into. The SAFC defeated SMU 2-1 in preseason. They had a beautiful goal here from Hernandez to Canale to Agudelo. So
that play looks familiar.
Tried and tested.
So I guess something is rolling over this season, I guess.
I do think our set pieces are going to be much better this year. Because at least during the preseason, it seems like that's what has worked for them so far. So first half, it was scoreless in the first half. Agudelo followed up the goal with his second goal in as many matches, finding some space and beating the goalkeeper to double lead, and then SMU was able to pull back, a final score in the final minutes for a 2-1 score. So far, the only goalkeeper that has been announced that has played, and the only one that I think's in camp, is Richard Sanchez, and of course he was at the Paint the Wall, talking about mustaches here for that here, him and Nikki for that here. So doing my part of the Royce part of the show, they're emphasizing the mustache here. And Matt, Matt's a big fan of that here. So to me, I know it's 2 games against colleges, 4 goals, 1 allowed. Sounds like it was on last minute. Good for the team.
I think it's just building confidence and more seeing what works, what doesn't work as far as rotations. I don't think he really cares as far as results. Because I think February 22nd is going to be the dress rehearsal. I think that's where, against El Paso. I think that's what he's going to use that game as far as, and who's he probably going to start the first game. This is more
Corpus this week.
Yeah. And it's more, like I said, some of these younger guys and some of the guys, like I say, they just, I guess he just wants to see what they can do, as far as chemistry wise and so forth. And so far, like I said, it looks good. We'll see how it goes this Saturday.
Jonathan, your thoughts on, and I'm not sure if you were there or not there. I don't believe you are.
No.
Based on some comments you made in our chat here. Your thoughts kind of on the preseason. I know we talked about at the start, hey, are just about avoiding injuries, which is the main thing, getting some fitness in, playing other players here. But anything that stands out, I know you're like me, just kind of guesstimating, but anything surprising from you just with your, I think you get 1 media opportunity per week that you get from the club?
Yes. So just kind of in terms of the general idea with preseason, I know I asked Carlos Humosa, I will say it and get the name right this time, asked him a couple weeks ago in the first media availability of the season, actually, kind of if there was anything, because SAFC hasn't played some of these college teams and, a semi-professional team like Corpus in the past few years, if there was any value to those. And he just kind of said, it doesn't really matter who we're playing. I'm not worried about the opposition. Obviously, coaches will also tell you they're not really worried about the score or anything. They just want to see, okay, are we building fitness? And is particularly, I think, important this year, is the game plan kind of coming to fruition? Are they understanding what he wants them to do on the field? So no real surprises so far. Also, because we were talking earlier about, yes, Mohamed Omar has been a sub in every match, and I went through before we came on today. In case anyone's curious, Luke Hawkinson, Jorge Hernandez, Juan Agudelo, Richard Sanchez, and possibly Jimmy Medranda, if we assume he was the starting left back in that first preseason match before he was officially signed. Those 5 have started every match. So as far as we know, that's kind of where that's at. And plenty of players who have been involved in all 3 matches, just maybe not necessarily a start. So, they're, and even you had referenced it earlier, Mitch Tainer on the bench to start. So SAFC's now had 3 different center back pairings, assuming it is 2 center backs. So Hermosa really is trying to switch them out, see, okay, who works best with whom. So it's actually kind of a funny contrast, because I remember a couple years ago, if you looked at SAFC's 3 or 4 preseason lineups, you had sort of different players.
Never changed.
Different in midfield, but it was always the same 3 in that back line. So interesting that I can't really say the reverse this year, but that back line is definitely seeing a lot of change. He's trying out those pairings, and no one is safe in preseason.
But I wonder if it's really a change. But he's got, to me, 3 starters between Alexis, Alex, and Mitch. There, he's got 3 quality starters right there. To where, number one, he can kind of lessen the effect, because I think they're all around 30, if my memory's correct on there. But 2, we know Mitch tends to draw the yellow card. So this will kind of help with rotation and keep the center backs fresh. Now I know we'll get to kind of your feedback from this week's media availability coming up here, as far as things that they're still looking to do. But to me, having these 3 center backs, if it is a 2-back rotation, I think unlike under Coach Marcina and even Coach Powell, you may see more of a rotation than we're used to in the center back position, just because you do have 3 quality starting center backs in play. Matt, it's been a while since we've talked to you. Any thoughts? Or actually, you just disappeared. Are you back, Matt, or no?
Yeah, I'm back.
Your thoughts? We haven't touched base with you in a while.
The results are great. I mean, I'm just glad that they're learning their chemistry right now. I think that was the one faulty thing that from last year was everybody was coming in late, and I don't think there was that much chemistry coming in. So now that we're practicing, we're learning each other, which we're doing before the season starts, and we're doing it during these scrimmages. I don't know, from what I've heard from different sources at that Paint the Tunnel, they look amazing together. So it's more of, I'm hearing it, I just need to see it now.
We're going to talk about that. I'm going to get you on record at the end of the show here. Jonathan, speaking of media availability, any feedbacks or things that you got from this past weekend or past week?
Yeah, from last Thursday. So just to give everyone an idea of when this is from. Yeah, kind of building off of that, you did have some of the standard, things are coming along great. The chemistry is coming along, and we're playing really well together. Obviously, with us, not really. I mean, we see a clip here and there so far, but we definitely do not have anything to back that up, I'd say, if we're being perfectly honest. Obviously, that's going to change this weekend, and especially the weekend after, as we finally get to see what this SAFC team is all about. But cutting through some of the fat and some of the things that aren't really noteworthy, a couple things I will mention. One, Sebastian Osorio, when we talked to him at the end, he was talking about, even though he arrived relatively recently, I think, he was still saying, I feel the chemistry, and guys on and off the field are getting along. He did mention that because of kind of the multicultural nature of this team in the locker room, you've got understandably like some of the Colombian guys, which is practically half the team. I exaggerate, but it is a sizable cohort there. They kind of stick together. You got some of the just I don't want to say cliques, but they find their little pods that are the guys they're maybe closer with, and I think that's kind of okay. It can maybe even help some of them feel less alone. Feel more at home here if they have people to lean on and help them out. Just as long as they come together as a whole unified team in the end. And then also, one thing I did note was I asked Yamosa kind of what's still kind of coming along. What do you still want to see better in preseason? And he said kind of what's going on in the final third, basically. Not even necessarily the finishing always, but kind of making the right decisions. Sometimes they'll take a shot maybe a little prematurely when 1 or 2 more passes could have created a better opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where SAFC is in terms of finishing off those moves, those attacking plays. And at the same time, like, yes, you do want to find your best shot, but you can overdo it sometimes, and we have seen sometimes in the past with SAFC, maybe sometimes they passed around a little too much. They're trying to find that opening and it just never materializes. So at some point, somebody has to pull the trigger. So you have to kind of find a delicate balance there. But at the moment, it sounds like, I guess maybe the guys aren't shy to shoot. They just sometimes could maybe make better decisions, could maybe get an even better opportunity.
Any because looking at the roster, it's what, 21? Hold on, let me click on that. Yeah, set at 21 here. Can you see them bringing in? Did Coach mention possibly any things else that they're looking for? I know Rafa's still dreaming of a number 9. But
and the goalkeeper, and you and the goalkeeper.
But any thought, any whispers of any possible transactions coming our way?
Yeah, so that was another thing. Rafa will, and I pointed this out to you guys after those interviews on Thursday. Rafa will be disappointed because we asked Carlos, and he said, well, we're looking to bring in another goalkeeper and another center back. So Harry was already happy with well, maybe not happy, but he was content with those 3, experienced center backs. Apparently, there's going to be another one, whether it's this seasoned veteran or maybe it's going to be someone younger that still has a lot more room to grow. Who knows? But yeah, goalkeeper and center back are the spots that he mentioned. And maybe he said that with the knowledge that they had already signed Pacheco, that, maybe they already had enough players they felt for now in that attacking area. Yeah. So that they're looking to shore up that defense there with a goalkeeper and a center back, but that's pretty much it as far as we know.
Do you think they may be waiting to see what comes about as far as the first week of MLS? Maybe because it does start. I think it starts next week, right? MLS,
the 22nd.
Yeah, so maybe something that they see a player that maybe is not going to get the opportunity. I mean, I could see maybe a goalkeeper. Maybe another number 9. That maybe they can develop. Under, because like I said, Agudelo, yeah, he can go 90, but if he won't be able to go like back a bunch of games
every week.
Yeah. So you're gonna need somebody to kind of back him up.
I should ask MLS Matt this, but I know he doesn't know this. But the compliance date for MLS is the 21st. So that would kind of correlate. And I know Darius mentioned got to keep some spots open for the patented SAFC midseason MLS loanees. If you remember last year, they didn't really have a lot of midseason loanees because they got them all at the start of the year for that here. So I think for MLS loanees, you are starting to see them already for that here, but technically the compliance date where they're going to be shuffling players has to be done by the 21st. So if SAFC is going to be going through the MLS loan path, you'll most likely see that announced probably next week if there is going to be any players or around that time frame, if they are needing to get them off the books for compliance for MLS purposes for that here. So that is still in the works here along those lines here. But yeah, to me, without seeing them, the biggest need right now is goalkeeper. Because we've only got 2 that signed. Joey's not going to be here till May, June-ish. God forbid, Richard gets an injury, then then they got to pull Robert out from whatever the heck he's doing these days, and bring him back the St. Mary's great record keeper or goalkeeper records up and down St. Mary's Hall, or not St. Mary's Hall, but St. Mary's University for that here. So, which brings us to the final topic. Or you guys have any other questions, either on the lineups, rotations, anything along those lines?
I was going to ask Jonathan, how do you feel the vibe from the players? Do you feel like they're not as a type like they were last year? Do you feel like more looser? because you kind of when you're describing it feels like they're very optimistic about this. Like last year was kind of like walking on eggshells, and there was a lot of tension. Here, you kind of what you're saying is like they're more like kind of they're really kind of coming together. Like there's like not so much as far as like a split locker room. How do you feel about that?
I hate to say it, but pretty much every year when you have these, particularly early in preseason interviews, it's always positivity and oh yeah, the guys are great, I'm settling in well. Like it's only when the rubber hits the road that you really find out, okay, do they actually have that chemistry? Are they getting along? Or was it all just cliches? The same kind of cliches that SAFC and every other team will give you at the start of the year. And also, for what it's worth, what do you expect them to say? Like, yeah, we don't really feel it coming together. Like, no, they're going to be positive. They're going to say that even if they don't mean it. And last year especially, it was interesting. Even as the season started, SAFC obviously didn't have the best beginning to the year, but the guys were saying, yeah, even through this all, like we've got great camaraderie. It's forcing us to really come together and try and find solutions together as a team. You really didn't hear much of that after those first few months, and so it's almost like there came a point where they were like, we can't even fake this anymore. Like obviously, any camaraderie we have is being exposed as not really making a difference, as if anything, it's either not as good or just not there. So yeah, I mean, it just kind of feels like a standard preseason so far, and like I said, it's when the rubber hits the road. It's when you actually get to see this team in person, and when you start having competitive matches every Saturday, week after week, sometimes a midweek match. That's when you're actually going to see, okay, is that chemistry genuine, or was it all just nice things to say in preseason?
So here's a question for you guys. 55 minutes, USA versus the U.S. Virgin Islands, U17 qualifier. What do you think the score is?
Just off the top of my head, I'll take a guess. 2-0 U.S. Virgin Islands, just for the heck of it. Because that's
Matt?
what I'm thinking.
4-5-0 USA.
Rafa, I don't know if you've cheated already, but
no. Did they mercy rule them like in the UIL? That's what I'm guessing.
They should. It is. I was trying to say 17-0. They just scored.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they just kicked the field goal.
55 minutes in. It was 14-0 at half for that here. So, yeah. No mercy there. Yeah. Mexico can't do that. U.S. was beating 17-0. Yeah, we were just talking about that for that here. So, last topic. I know 3 of us are going. I'm hoping the 4th will commit to going because it is, but it's an out-of-town trip, so I'm sure he'll say.
Oh my God! I told you
we'll have to see if his mom lets him go.
That's crazy. It's not even my mom.
I'm excited for this because I think this will be something that will be happening in the future once the Corpus Christi Stadium is opened up and Corpus Christi moves from USL League 2 to USL League 1. They are rumored to be a candidate to go up. But the Texas takedown down I-30, going down I-35, or no, it's 37, right? 37. Down to Corpus. Saturday night, 7 o'clock at Dr. Dugan's Soccer Stadium, which is where was it Texas A&M Corpus Christi plays.
Yes.
For that here, nice little stadium set up for there. Tickets are $15. You can get it at CorpusCFC.com. Really easy. There's a little service charge on top of it, not like Ticketmaster, but there is a little service fee. Interested to see. I think James is going down. I think Jonathan, you and your family is going down. I'm going down. Rafa's going down. Any supporters going down, Matt, to your knowledge?
Nobody said anything besides me, Rafa, and I think no, that's it.
So, but if you can, like, it's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive, depending on how fast you go and, traffic around there. But I'm looking forward to it, to going to see SAFC away. It'll be interesting. Corpus, like I said, I think could be a fun little rivalry in the future. Interested to see what kind of team that they have that we're going to go up against. They do have a UPSL team. I do know that they were doing tryouts here in SanAntonio last weekend for the upcoming season. So it'll be interesting to see the makeup of their roster going forward for that here. But Rafa, any thoughts on I know it's a preseason friendly, but any thoughts on the way preseason friendly against a USL League 2 team?
I'm kind of wondering what players Corpus Christi FC is going to have. Are they going to have D1 talent down there? The D1 talent playing for Corpus Christi. But like I said, is a good test for, I think, maybe our bench players that get prepared. So like I said, it's still building chemistry, building connections. Because like I said, most of what he's going to look for is what are the right combinations, what the substitution rotation will be, and then maybe, like I said, if you notice, maybe you have a couple trialists. Maybe this is their last opportunity to see for their impression on him as far as being on the team. If they end up offering a contract to whoever they have as a trialist still, and then, like I said, maybe have a signing, the week after this game. So, but it should be a fun one. Should be a great one. Like I said, it's probably the beginnings of a new rivalry game. Hope, like I said, we may even, I don't know if we will see them in U.S. Open Cup, but you never know.
They are in the Open Cup. They'd have to win 3 matches. Let me see. Who did they draw? Your thoughts, Jonathan? I know you'll be traveling down there.
Yeah, traveling down there, and this will actually be a rare opportunity if anyone wants to come up to me and harass me during the game. I'll be sitting amongst the peasants, amongst the plebs in the stands, not up in the press box or anything. So yeah, it's a weird situation for me, I guess. We just decided whatever, we'll just get 3 tickets and be done with it. But yeah, I mean, just nice to see what's actually being alluded to, what we're getting kind of the filtered version of in terms of SAFC's preseason matches and results and recaps and all that. And I mean, even just from a off the field perspective, like, you can tell Corpus Christi is really excited for this. They're hyping it up. They're really marketing it. Like with that graphic Texas takedown, they want to get some giant killing in, even though it's preseason. Like, how much is that result worth? But it is also a valid question of, like, what team are they even going to have? Because they presumably rely, at least partially, if not mostly, on like college players who can't really come in for another few months. So
here's something to kind of keep an eye on. They play March 19th in their Open Cup game against Chattanooga FC, so they have to travel to Chattanooga. So that is one where, because if memory serves me right, you can have your roster for the USL League 2 season, and then you can have a separate roster for the Open Cup, which I think we've seen some teams kind of stack the roster a little bit, I guess you could kind of say. So it wouldn't shock me if they're using this game, and I know we're a little bit over a month away from that here, but if they brought in some players that they're wanting to look at to be able to play in the Open Cup game against Chattanooga, Chattanooga FC.
It'd be difficult bringing the college players, right? Because a lot they're doing the spring soccer. Yeah, because they're bringing the soccer with Joey, right? Yeah, with the spring soccer going on and so forth.
So I don't think this will be a young roster. Yeah. And plus, that will Open Cup tie them to Corpus Christi if they do want to go elsewhere. But we also got to remember Corpus Christi does have a UPSL team as well that that they carry as well, which is depending on the quality. Obviously, they're not professional players, but you can find some talent in UPSL where. Was it Mikey Maldonado? I think he was with North Carolina. I think he was last with North Carolina. San Antonio zone. He played with the Runners and got picked up. So there are some talent, and let's be honest, there is talent here in San Antonio or South Texas, area as well, along those lines here. But to me, USA still hasn't scored yet. Disappointing, only 17-0. Since Royce isn't here, let's get out of here early for that here. Final thoughts, Matt, because that way we can blame Royce on, since he's on. It's always a marathon with him.
Nothing much. Just can't wait to see how this team's coming together, and can't wait to discuss the upcoming stuff with SGs.
I'm not going to comment on that because I don't want to say something that'll derail the show. Jonathan, your thoughts, your closing thoughts.
Well, I hope everyone's kind of getting in the mood for the season. Obviously, with things like painting the tunnel last Friday, with this sort of unofficial, I guess you could say, like, it's one of those where SAFC, when they announced their preseason schedule, said, this will be the only open door match, and even then, it's only for season ticket members. But then, I think SAFC themselves even retweeted when Corpus started sort of hyping it up and marketing it. So SAFC acknowledges that, yeah, okay, if you want to make a trip of a few hours, you can come see this one too. So now these next 2 weekends with opportunities to actually see the team and how they're coming along, with, I don't remember the exact date, but with jerseys being unveiled later this month.
I got the date here.
It's gonna start coming into focus and feeling real. So SAFC a few times has said, longer preseason than they would have liked it to be. Obviously, last year, on and off the field, was not really how people wanted things to go. So wipe the slate clean, new head coach, a lot of new players, kind of hitting the reset button pretty hard this year. So it's coming together.
Since you brought up the jersey reveal, which is February 26th, if you're not a season ticket member, reach out to safc.com. We ought to see if we can get a dedicated person, maybe that we could reach out to, that we could highlight. But yeah, the 2025 jersey reveals February 26th. My question is: this a tease of possibly what the kit's going to look like?
Maybe.
I'm not comfortable with it.
I mean, if you show some of the Charlie jerseys of the Liga MX teams, and also with Oakland too, because like I said, Oakland was part of it, and I think Memphis was part of it. So they have some very unique designs, and according to our source that was told to us, that they see they're going to be nice from what we've been hearing. So, and usually Charlie doesn't really disappoint. They're pretty good at making. They rarely ever miss. Maybe some of the other providers, but like I said, Charlie, it's a rare that they ever miss.
So on the 26th, they're going to announce, February 26th, a Wednesday. You got to be a season ticket member or know somebody who is, that's reserved and maybe you can roll with. But they're going to announce the home and away kits along with new goalkeeper home and away kits. There'll be some players there that'll do it. If you are a season ticket member and went to, I think it was the checkered one that they had at the Cowboys Dance Hall that was released through there. And if you are a season ticket member, according to the release, 2 lucky who check in at the event will win a brand new SAFC jersey. Plus, we'll be raffling off a few 10th anniversary tumblers as well. So if you're not a season ticket member, please do, reach out to them. If you are a season ticket member, please reserve your reservations before February 19th, 5 p.m. For that here is according to the email now. I'm not sure how sticky they'll be there, but that'll be something that you definitely want to get in. Rafa, I know, unlike Paint the Wall, you were a little disappointed on the date selected because I believe you're going to be out of town.
Yes, I'll be in Cedar Park, traveling to Cedar Park, so I'll be missing it. But like I said, hopefully we'll see. I was a little surprised about the location too, because they're doing it in Selma with that traffic up 35. It's a mess right now. Every time I want to travel to Austin, it's a mess. Getting there 1604 and 35. I'm wondering if because of the rodeo, Cowboys wasn't available.
Yeah.
I'm surprised maybe they didn't find another location. They could. They could have done something. Even like at David Buster's or something like that. They could have done something.
How about at the place that they own?
Oh, that too. Why not? If you think about it, they can. Debut the new. As far as the scoreboard and all that, kind of showcase all that.
But I'm excited though. Yeah. I'm not going to criticize it. I know the date for you doesn't work. A Wednesday, it's kind of tough, especially with high school soccer. Once again, I think that'll be right at the end of the year, right? It goes through March, first week in March. Yeah. First couple weeks of March for UIL. I know TAPS will be in the heart of the playoffs at that point, because that kicks off on the 20th, I believe, 21st, somewhere around there. Which I've already started putting together the bracketology for that. We'll finalize that. Rafa, your final thoughts?
No, just looking forward to see to see firsthand how this team is, what the talent we brought in, what they can do. Like I said, I know it's not an official game and so forth. It's still kind of like an experiment. See what works, what doesn't work. And also up and close to see what style of techniques and tactical play Yomoso is all about, because we really haven't seen that, because it's kind of be the first time we get to see it in person. Well, how he is as a coach, what kind of tendencies he has. Is he one that just sits down? Does he walk up and down? Like I said, we're finally get to see how he is, because like I said, this is his first head coaching job. We're finally get to see him in that environment, and it should be a fun one down there in Corpus.
Yeah, so if you can make the trip, if you need a ride, reach out to. I'm sure there's going to be a few SAFC fans that go down, even if they haven't publicly announced it. Spurs are up by 10 with 38 seconds, so they might cover for that here. Royce, hope you have a great time on vacation, well deserved for that here. Jonathan, hopefully you have a chilly week out at the media event this week, because it's supposed to be a little bit cooler than the last couple of weeks. So hopefully you're able to stay dry. Rafa, I know you're out and about this week, so be safe for that here. Matt, we need a yes, man. Need a yes that you're going to hop either in my car or Rafa's car, go down, cheer, maybe even see if we can bring a drum, gather up the posse.
I'm probably going to have to ask that coming when I go talk to them, if it's okay, because I don't want to take it for no reason.
Yeah.
So gather up, and we can show Corpus how it's done, even in preseason. Darius, thank you, Aguilar, Jesus Gonzalez. Rafa was in the chat. Thank you, Rafa. And thank you for everybody that's tuned in for the abbreviated show here, like last minute. Me getting it put together with it being a Monday. But I hope everybody has a great day. Royce, under 55 minutes. I'm just saying. What's lifestyle goals?
Aloha.